Hey guys, welcome back. Woodworking here. Got another gameplay breakdown for you. If you're new to my channel and you haven't seen one of these before, I haven't done one since 2.0 dropped because I wanted to make sure I knew what direction the meta was headed and didn't give you guys bad advice that I would later change. For instance, the beginning of 2.0, I was building Iron Guard contract first buy almost every game, and now I very rarely build it. Another thing, CP Kestrel was not a thing for like the first 2 or 3 weeks of 2.0. In fact, the only person I saw play it in any of the ranked games I was in was Hardic, and now she's arguably the strongest CP jungler. Anyways, today I'm going to be playing Ardan, and my teammates are going to play CP Kestrel. Random third we got, me and Master Chief duo queuing. And then Sky. Master Chief is going to play Weapon Power Sky. So let's get right into this. My hierarchy for captains this patch has been Lance and Catherine, highest priority. If Catherine's available, I will usually grab her over Lance. But those two are my top tier captains. And then Ardan. And then I'm still trying to figure out where Finn fits in. A lot of people have been telling me he's really strong. We haven't had great success with him, I think just because it's been so long since we've played him. Mechanically, I'm still really good with his kit because I played him a lot when he was, you know, the best roamer there was, but haven't had too much success with him this patch yet. Usually when I build Ardan, I will go straight to Fountain. So I started with a Oakheart and Light Shield here, whereas if I'm in Lance, for instance, I will grab 1 or 2 weapon blades. If I just grab one, I'll grab an Oakheart with it. And how I'm making that determination is if the enemy jungle comp and or laner are very squishy, I will usually grab the 2 weapon blades because I feel I'll get a lot out of it early game. I'm able to apply pressure in the lane, and it really helps us out early in team fights. But when I'm Ardan, I'll try to rush Fountain, and then Ardan and Catherine, I'm usually going Null Wave second item. I feel like with their kits, having all the things Null Wave brings besides the actual activatable is really strong with those 2 heroes. So unless like I'm Ardan, I'm playing against a Catherine, I'll go Crucible first in that instance, but otherwise I'm usually going to build Null Wave second on Ardan and Catherine. So going forward in this game, the biggest threats I'm worried about for my team versus the enemy team is going to be Gwyn's burst damage and then Blackfeather's sustained damage. So there's nothing that I absolutely have to build after Fountain, which is why I'm going to go Null Wave here. It'll be nice to have the cooldown reduction on Vanguard, so now that they created the item Null Wave, I'm going to be building it, at least in its current state. I do have a feeling a nerf is coming for it. A lot of people have been complaining it's too strong. I agree it is a little overpowered. The silence is just too long. Especially up at this tier, I mean 5 seconds is usually the majority of most fights, so not being able to use any of your activatables is just overpowered. There's no way else to look at that. I slowed down the video there because I want you guys to see the strength of early game Kestrel here. She's 2 shots, pretty much the enemy Gwyn there. I mean, I vanguarded her, but she really wasn't in that much danger. Blackfeather's poke isn't strong enough at this stage in the game, running CP, to really affect her. But going forward, I'm going to want to make sure I save my Vanguard for peeling. So when Blackfeather's jumping on one of my enemy carries, I don't want to use Vanguard early until he's within proximity of them to be affected by Vanguard slow, because it's much more effective to get that slow out of the Vanguard ability than to just use it the moment one of my carries start taking damage. So Blackfeather's going to want to poke with his B to engage because he gets the health barrier. So I don't want to use it then. I want to wait till he gets within melee range of one of my carries to use Vanguard in general. When you're playing against a squishy enemy hero like this, what you want to do what I just did is Ardan, bully that enemy laner out of their lane, because Ardan actually hits really hard early game, and using the Vanguard as a slow can be really effective if your carry is ready to follow up on that bullying. And then you saw once again the power of CP Kestrel there. She just gets in with her stealth and one-shots Gwen, because we got Gwen down to half health, and Gwen can two-shot a full health Gwen at this point in the game. Talk about my build really quick. I got Fountain right when the shot popped at 4 minutes. Generally in 2.0 that's when I've been getting it. The earliest I've got in it is around 3:18, 3:19, somewhere in there. If your laner does perfect farm and you just sit in the lane, the first 3 minutes and 18 seconds of the game, you can get the Fountain that fast. I haven't seen too much benefit of having it that early, so I do like to grab a little vision, and I'll usually grab Life Spring before that. I paused the video so we can talk about everybody's builds and CS really quick. You can see my laner's way ahead, and that's purely because we've been able to kill Gwen twice now, and my laner has yet to die. However, because Gwen has been able to shop, her itemization is actually ahead of my laner. And then you can see Blackfeather and Kestrel are about even on farm, but Kestrel has her Shatterglass. So she's ahead on itemization, but even on CS. These are good things to know when you're deciding whether to start a fight or not. Because I spent every last bit of gold I had on Fountain, I don't have any vision, so I kind of have to face check this bush. But I did want to fight here. I probably should have died there without getting Fountain off. It wouldn't really have affected my allies because they were full health, but I just took a lot of damage face checking there. Probably wasn't the best course, but I really wanted to force a fight because we're ahead, and I like to keep the advantage when my team's ahead. If you go and watch any of my previous Ardan gameplay breakdowns, especially the ones where I'm following somebody who's a slightly lower tier roamer, you hear me talk about conserving your Vanguard a lot, and you just saw there, Master Chief did a really nice series strike to get out of danger, but I waited on my Vanguard until I knew he would get the most out of it. For instance, if that Impale had landed on him, I don't want to Vanguard him the moment the Impale lands on him, because he's going to be rooted for a second whether I Vanguard him or not. I want to Vanguard him right when the root's ending, if I can time it that well, so that he gets the speed boost the moment he can move again, and the enemy gets slowed the moment he can move again. A lot of people will Vanguard the moment their carry gets impaled, and the whole speed boost is wasted because they couldn't move right then anyway. There you see the power of Kestrel again. We've been having a lot of trouble with her, honestly. What I've been doing when I play against Kestrel is rushing Contraption second usually, because the way you beat a CP Kestrel is to jump on her and with vision. So you have to keep vision on her and you have to jump on her so she can't go invisible, because when Kestrel follows the CP path, if she takes damage continuously, she can't go invisible. I did kind of miss a Vanguard there. I thought Skye was right on top of me, so I Vanguarded trying to hit Skye, but she hit a series strike right as I did that, and so I ended up Vanguarding myself. And Skye both had turret aggro and also had taken a lot of damage from Gwen, so I had to use Fountain there. Probably wouldn't have needed to use it if I would have been able to Vanguard Skye. No big deal, but just something to note. You saw me make a mistake there. I like to point out both my mistakes and the things I do well. Both of them can help you guys learn. I went a little too far forward here, popping vision, but I'm actually working on a how to lance video, and you saw me there escape from lance by going perpendicular to the direction his impale was coming. It's something to note. I'll talk more about it in my Lance video I should have coming out very soon, but just wanted to throw it out there as I saw it happen in this video. I paused the video because I really want you to pay attention to what happens this fight. Lance actually stuns me out of my Vanguard, which is really hard to do, and he didn't do it on purpose. But you saw it has calamitous effects on our team in that fight. Kestrel didn't receive any of my Vanguard buff, so she gets wrecked. I try to do the best I can, get my Fountain out and get Gauntlet down, but it's just not enough. I don't have enough in my kit if Vanguard is voided in that way, or it would be similar if I had wasted it. I didn't waste it, but just you see one little thing in the fight completely changes it. Even though we were ahead in CS, ahead in builds, everything was going our way, all it took was that one little thing and we lost the fight and got aced 3-0. And the enemy team gets turret and gold mine. Our Kestrel got a really nice kill on Gwen there. I don't think she would have been able to save the turret anyway. And then Blackfeather, for some reason, decides to come up 1v3. And so we're right back in it. So although the reason we lost the last fight wasn't a mistake, it was just kind of an unfortunate event, what the enemy team just did right there was a huge error. And they let us right back into this game. That could have been their chance to take the advantage themselves. I mentioned in my how to use Fountain of Renewal video that I really don't like using Fountain of Renewal on myself, and you saw me wait probably a little too long there to use it on myself, but that was just a really nice stun by Gwen. I don't even think she was trying to hit me, I just walked right into it. And so although I did get Fountain out, it didn't do anything for me. I still died, and then I'm not there to help my teammates. That was an error on my part. And the reason I'm pointing out these errors, both to help you learn, and one thing I want to stress repeatedly to people is, so I talked about how Lance stunning me out of Vanguard was just an unfortunate thing. It wasn't an error on my part. Those things are going to happen every game. Things you just can't avoid. You don't have vision and you have to face check, or the enemy team does some really nice rotation and you're going to lose a fight. If you can avoid making errors and only have the things that are out of your control happen, you will win more games. So don't do what I did after that, where I walked up and used Fountain late on myself and my team got aced again. So to sum that monologue up, basically, the less errors you can make, the better off you'll be. I know that sounds obvious, but what I want to get at is that bad things are going to happen to you every game anyway. But the less of those things you are causing yourself, the better off you'll be. By this point in the game, Lance has Contraption, so you're going to see me kind of overextending sometimes just to pop vision, because my Kestrel can't be effective if there's always vision on her. So I'm going to go out of my way to support her by popping that vision. And so I'm always flaring forward towards where I see us fighting so that I can pop that vision, and we should be more successful in fights because I'm doing that. You can see on the build screen that the enemy team is terrified of Kestrel. Both the enemy carry and jungler have an Aegis already, so Skye should start being able to do a lot of work at this point in the game. A good thing to know who your main damage dealer is at all times as a captain, especially Ardan, because you want to prioritize keeping them alive because they're the ones doing most of the work. We're going to start this gold mine while Kestrel kind of pokes and keeps the enemy team at bay. Pretty much if they come try to contest this, they're going to get blown up, and we're able to get gold mine because of it. That's a really good thing to put in your toolbox if you're at this point in the game where your team out-pokes the other team and you're kind of at the standoff because Kraken's not up yet and they're just kind of turtling under their turret. Move back a little bit, put down some vision, and take the gold mine or take their mid-treant and their fronts. Get something. Don't just stand there turtling with them, because you're not getting anything for that. You're letting them do what they want to do. I'm going to kind of make a small mistake here. Okay, so I'm out of flares and mines. I just used my last one, and I was planning on going down to shop to buy more, but on the mini-map it looked like Kestrel was getting engaged on 2 or 3v1. So instead of going to the shop to buy more vision, I went up to try to help her. Turns out she wasn't in any danger, so now I'm kind of stuck at the top of the lane without vision. So I'm not able to clear Lance's mines that he's put down. And I can't flare forward to see what the enemy team's doing. Really nice impale here by Lance. The problem was his team wasn't there to follow it up. And then this was a really good gauntlet. I forced Blackfeather to use his ult to get out, and Lance as well. So this fight goes completely our way because his team couldn't follow up when he did a really nice impale, and then I used my abilities properly. I also null waved him during that fight, so he couldn't fountain his teammates when they needed it. He does have null wave as well, but because I got mine off first, he couldn't use his until the 5 seconds were up, and by the time he used his on me, there wasn't really any items that I needed to use anymore. We take out their turret and then kind of overstay our welcome, trying to steal some farm. We boots out, so it's okay, but I guess the enemy team thought we were still weak, so they come try to jump on us. I'll give this Lance credit. He does do a 3-man impale and then a 3-man Githian wall. Unfortunately, his team isn't there to follow up again. Fountain was still down, so I wasn't able to do much for Kestrel after I used Vanguard. Fountain is up now, and like I said, they haven't really itemized against Sky, so Master Chief's just kind of going beast mode because he's just building stacks really easily and taking them out. We actually remember to look at the clock this time and don't start the gold mine. For some reason, we always start the gold mine when it has like 10 seconds to go, and then we realize we're idiots when the Kraken starts to climb out. But at this point, we're looking really good. We're playing very well in fights. It's not perfect. I think in that last fight I at-list Lance and nobody else. So there's a lot of things I'm not doing well, but I'm doing the things that really matter well, which is getting my fountains out on time, null waving the enemy Lance, and supporting my carry that's doing damage, which at this point is Sky, not Kestrel, because of the way the enemy team itemized. When you're pushing with a Kraken when the enemy team only has 2 turrets up, if you play right, that should always be a win for you. The enemy team is kind of doing the right thing here by trying to engage outside of the base because they need to win this fight in order to have a chance. Kind of a late fountain there by me, and my teammates split focus on targets, so that wasn't great either. But I do a really nice job staying alive there with just a smidge of health, and that gauntlet was really good. It zoned out Gwen, and then it stunned Lance, so Master Chief was able to kill him. And by this point, he's just too big. There's nothing the enemy Blackfeather can do. So, once again, there you saw, although Kestrel got blown up, I could have popped my fountain a second earlier and probably helped her a little bit more. But you don't have to do everything perfect. You just have to do the things well that matter. And you have to make less mistakes than your enemy team, or not be the team to make the last mistake. The team that makes the last mistake is the team that loses in Vainglory. And that's something I'll keep on stressing as long as I'm making videos. Let's talk about builds really quick. Everything looks pretty standard. Kestrel has no defense, but most of the CP Kestrels I see just kind of build glass cannon like that. And that's why she got blown up so fast in that last fight, because she got basically 2-shotted by Gwen, I believe. The only other thing I see that kind of stands out is that Lance built Null Wave. It's not that I don't like Null Wave, but because of the way his carries built, itemizing against Kestrel so hard at the beginning, he really needed to go Atlas and try to Atlas Sky, because they couldn't really do anything against Sky because they don't have defense, and they didn't really have time to build defense against Sky. So if he would have been able to Atlas Sky, it would have gone a long way for his team, and I think he would have gotten a lot more out of that item than Null Wave. As for my Atlas, although it was the right thing to build because Atlasing either Black Feather or Gwyn would be helpful for my team, I just didn't land it that well this fight, or this whole game for that matter. So the right item, I should have used it a little better. Always stuff to work on. Overall, I think, especially since I was going against a Lance that had a contraption, I think I did decent on vision. Probably could have bought more mines. I've had a lot of trouble with that in 2.0. I feel like I don't buy as many mines as I used to just because of the way the itemization is now. Something I'm working on. Something I'm not doing well. Just want to talk about my schedule going forward really quick. My personal life's gotten a lot more busy. It always does around this time of the year. So my video production is going to go down. Sorry for those of you that want to see more of my content. I'm not going to rush content that isn't quality because that's not what my channel's about. So I'm going to try to release a video every Wednesday, and hopefully the schedule will be 1 week I'll do a how-to video, and then 1 week I'll do a gameplay breakdown video like this. If I can't finish the how-to video on time, I'll just do another gameplay breakdown until I can get that one, the how-to video, done. Anyways, that's going to do it for me for today. I really do hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you on the fold.